Well, welcome everybody. My name is Carmel Clancy and I am the conference chair for IntNSA for this year's 2020 first virtual global conference, and you're extremely welcome and we're delighted that you're joining us. I'd like to, if I can, just take a moment to introduce the conference team. I'm sure many of you who've put on conferences before will know and recognize that it is impossible to do this as one individual, and it takes a team. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much, and that was never so true of the team that's on the current slide in front of you. As you can see, it's a list of many, many names and lovely, lovely pictures. I'm just extremely grateful to this group for all of their support, since particularly we had initially started to plan for our conference to be held in Calgary. And of course, that changed dramatically, like much of the rest of the world. And we decided then to go online. So very appreciative to all of my colleagues. And hopefully you'll get a chance over the course of the month to say hi to them, because they will be turning up at various events, either presenting people or presenting themselves or turning up in some of our network meetings. So thank you, colleagues. Next slide, please, Sean. So what a conference we have for you. I hope you've had the chance to check out your brochure, and you will have already seen, in effect, everything that is on offer. We have, at this moment, as of today, 700 people registered with over 25 countries represented. We have a conference which is going to last over the entire month of October, so 30 days. And we've done it so that you will be controlling your time and your pace, as most of our events are asynchronous or pre-recorded. And we have a mix of synchronous live keynote events, including obviously today, and most of those are happening over the weekends. But there are approximately 80 different types of events, which I'll go into in a little bit, just to give you a preview, so to speak, and hopefully whet your appetite. But it does allow you to actually, sort of manage your time over the month, because even if it's a live event, it is going to be recorded. So if you can't get to the keynote, you can always go back and check it out and watch it as a recording. The really good news, for a one-off fee of $25, very flat fee, is that we've managed to get all of our concurrent and live events, our webinars with CEs. So there are 43 CEs available for you, a total of which, usually when you're attending in person, you have to make a decision as to which session you go to. Of course, because of the virtual nature of our event this year, you will be able to attend everything should you wish to, and collect all 43 CEs if that is your wish. The language, of course, of the conference is English, but all webinar sessions are streamed via our YouTube channel, and therefore they do have closed captions. And you can also control the speed of the speaker. So please check that out when you go into the webinars. On the right hand, usually on the right hand bottom side, you will find closed caption. Click that on, and you can also control the speed if English isn't your first language, and hopefully that will assist you. Next slide. So we've got 4 themes across each of the 4 weeks. And in the coming week, starting from today, we will be looking at the issue of prevention, harm reduction, screening, and early intervention. In week 2, we'll broadly be covering treatment and intervention. Week 3, we'll be looking at education, training, workshop development, role of the nurse, evaluation of different treatment models. And finally, in our last week, we'll be looking at recovery-orientated interventions, and indeed actually health professionals with addictions, and how do we actually look after our own. So lots to do. Posters, we've got lots of posters. So please go, that's already open and available. So please check out the posters. There are 10 live keynote webinars, as I mentioned, and these are largely being held over the weekend so that we can maximize people's interaction. The new concurrent sessions will open each month, so we release them slowly. So you will check your brochure and you will see what concurrent sessions are open from tomorrow. And then again, they will open again next Monday and so forth, just to give you a sense of pace, and so that we'll be able to monitor. Networking events, we really would like, if you're brand new to IntNSA, you've never come to our conferences before, or you just want to say hi to your fellow attendees, please do come and meet with us. It's a live event, which is going to be moderated by Dr. Stephen Strobe, who's one of our ex-presidents, and we will be welcoming you. You'll get a chance to meet the board, you'll get a chance to meet our conference committee, and there will be small breakout rooms via Zoom breakout rooms. So please do come. It'll hopefully be a nice, friendly catch up with everybody. We also have some workshops. We've got Publishing 101, which is being led by our journal editor, Dr. Anne Mitchell and colleagues. And we also have a cross-country review and comparison between 4 countries, Australia, England, Portugal, and the USA, all around addiction practice. And that's happening in the final week. So do check those workshops. They are live and everybody is welcome. And we have 2 panel discussions, one focusing on the next generation of addiction nurses and where are they going to come from and how do we support them. And of course, AOD in terms of alcohol, other drug nursing during COVID, which I'm sure all of us are now more than familiar with, but we are going to have a conversation again internationally about how everybody's been coping with that across the globe. Next slide. I do want to say just a couple of things about how you can interact. Usually, of course, you're in the room with somebody, and so you get the chance to put questions to the presenters. So what we've done with the virtual model is that there will be a live weekly roundup panel discussion facilitated on a Saturday morning at Eastern Standard Time. So do check where that fits on your global clock, but it's Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m., and it'll be facilitated. And anybody who's presented in the preceding week is invited to come and be on the panel, and you will be able to put some questions to them. If you're not able to join us live on the Saturday mornings, then you're very welcome to leave questions or put comments in each of the webinar sessions. So at the end of every webinar session, you will see a box. If you look to the right of this particular screen, you should see something like that, where you can leave your question, and comments from the authors will then come in. And all of our presenters have been asked to keep checking in and spotting any questions or comments so they can interact with you. Next slide. Thank you, Sean. One of the things we really do want to flag, particularly given COVID, particularly because we know that this is a stressful year above and beyond all others, is the issue of self-care. And we are absolutely delighted with the work of Dr. Karan Berder, one of our IntNSA board of directors, who has put together a series of resources, and you can check it out in the self-care room. Hugely important, obviously, not only, as I say, because of COVID, but in actual fact, many of our nursing organizations demand it. Certainly the American Nurses Association say that it is mandated. And of course, it's to promote health and safety, preserve the wholeness of your character and integrity, maintain competence, very importantly, and continue your own personal and professional growth. So given this is an international conference, we would also be very keen to understand and learn more about what does your nursing organization require of self-care. So perhaps that's a conversation we can have over the coming month. Thank you. Next slide, please. So I've just flagged again, just so that you know, there are 43 CEs available. If you check out on the website, on the right-hand side, you will see a menu, and it gives you absolute details of how you can actually make sure that you monitor your own CEs, make a note of those, and then submit them at the end of the conference, and you will then receive a certificate for the number of CEs that you have collected. You will, unfortunately, although this entire conference is free, because of the administrative side of this, we've had to charge a flat fee of $25, but we hope that you agree that it's worth the value, particularly if you can collect all 43 CEs. Next slide, please. So again, as many conferences, we have some sponsors. We'd love you to spend some time with them on the exhibitors hall. So please check that out. Again, you can leave some comments for them, and they have given directions to their website, so you can see exactly what their business is about, and do please engage and interact with them. Next slide, please. Of course, don't forget to buy a memento. All of the money that we earn or generate through our products goes to our FAN, which is the Foundations of Addiction Nursing, which is our charitable arm. And all of that money is then reinvested into IntNSA and into awards, travel awards, research awards, attendance at conferences. So please do check out the merchandise, or the merch as it's often referred to. And we do have a brand new, gorgeous global t-shirts coming, particularly for the virtual conference. They should be coming around mid-October. They've been slightly delayed because of COVID, but they are beautiful. So please put in an order so we know how many people are interested in those. But there's already merchandise there, so do check it out, and hopefully something will appeal to you. Next slide, please. Of course, you know, now that we're virtual and given today's world, we cannot forget about our social media. And so we have all sorts of platforms available for you to communicate, including Instagram, Twitter, and of course, Facebook. We would ask if you are communicating, particularly on Twitter, that you use the hashtag IntNSA, IntNSA 2020. This will allow you to connect in with your fellow participants and attendees and have ongoing conversations online about the entire month and also the presentations that you're engaging on. So do check that out and do let us know how you think the conference is going and what you're particularly enjoying, and we'll be following you also. Thank you. Next slide, please. And so now I'm particularly delighted to be able to introduce our lovely, and many of you will know, current IntNSA president, Dr. Katherine Fornili. Dr. Fornili is, for many of you who might not know Dr. Fornili, she is currently a full-time faculty at the University of Maryland School of Nursing since 2005. She holds a baccalaureate degree in nursing, a master's degree in public health, and a doctorate of nursing practice degree in community public health nursing with an emphasis on addictions nursing. Dr. Fornili currently teaches in the DNP program, as well as an undergraduate clinical in community public health nursing, and is a co-developer of several addictions nursing and motivational interviewing courses. Public health nurse for 36 years, Dr. Fornili has served in leadership roles at the city, state, and national level since 1993, and has been certified in addictions registered nursing, which is our CARN, since 1999. She has served in doctoral internships at SAMHSA and the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. She has extensive state agency experience leading grant writing teams for community-based substance use disorder prevention and treatment programs. Dr. Fornili is an associate editor of the Journal of Addictions Nursing and editor of the Policy Watch column. She co-autors SAMHSA's technical assistance publication, TAP number 30, Buprenorphine, A Guide for Nurses, and was a field reviewer for Treatment Improvement Protocol, TIP number 63, Medications for Opioid Use Disorder. She has served 4 previous terms on the IntNSA Board of Directors and as chair of the IntNSA Health Policy Task Force, and is the president of IntNSA, obviously between 2018 and 2020. Her interests include addictions nursing curriculum development, substance screening and brief intervention, pharmacological therapies, specifically buprenorphine, stigma, health policy, public health, and health disparities. It is with absolute pleasure that I get to introduce Dr. Fornili. Welcome, Katherine, and we're looking very much forward to your opening address. Thank you, colleagues, and I look forward to seeing you online and engaging with everybody as we move through the entire month of October. Welcome again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I want to welcome everybody here to our first virtual global conference held in conjunction with IntNSA's 44th annual educational conference in celebration of the year of the addictions nurse, Perfect Vision 2020. So we're just thrilled to have you here, and we hope that you enjoy this month-long offering of educational opportunities. This is our kickoff day, and there's just so much for you to enjoy the rest of the month. So I've provided information about how I can be reached by email or phone. And again, welcome. We're so glad you're here. This conference was originally intended to be held in Calgary the week of October 14th, but because of COVID, we had to change our plans, and we'll try to be in Calgary again in October 2021. And now that we are here presenting to you today, I've got to say that I think that probably the only good thing that came out of COVID was that we were able to develop this virtual conference, provide it for free, and develop our e-learning portal that we'll be able to use year round. I want to thank our sponsors, the University of Calgary, the Palix Foundation, our wonderful publishing company, Wolters Kluwer, and Middlesex University. I want to thank our conference planning committee, which Carmel introduced, and also our executive director, Robert Ranieri with Prime Management. When you go from a face-to-face conference to a virtual conference, you end up having virtual conference planning committee meetings that kind of look like this. So it's a lot for us to get used to. I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Clancy, or who I call Carmel, for her unique vision, her contacts and networking that have allowed us to come up with some exceptional speakers, and Sean Collins, who we would not be having this conference today if it were not for him. And I hope you'll appreciate the wonderful brochure that he's put together for us and all of the bells and whistles for our conference. In fact, I consider Sean Collins to be our virtual global conference superhero. He's my personal danger mouse, because whenever there's danger, I'll know he'll be there. And he'll be there to help you too when you have technical difficulties or need to inquire about the technology. He's the contracted IntNSA webmaster and social media lead, and we owe him a world of thanks. I'm very thrilled that because we were able to develop this e-learning portal platform for the virtual conference, that now we have a platform for future year-round training and classes. And I'm thrilled that Dr. Pam Cipriano will be our first keynote speaker, but as Dr. Clancy mentioned earlier, we have wonderful keynote speakers and breakout sessions, and a lot of wonderful activities for you. But now we're going to be able to offer such things year round. In fact, we've already begun using our e-learning portal with the IntNSA Nigeria chapter, who presented live on September 28th. And this webinar, Overview of Substance Use and Dependence in Nigeria, a Nursing Perspective, prepared by Dr. Oluremi Adejumo, will be repeated. The recording of that presentation will be repeated on October 6th. And you can find information about that in your brochure. I also want to really congratulate and thank my friend and colleague, Dr. Karan Burda, for this excellent self-care room that she has put together. All of the things on there, they just give you such joy to click on them and take a short virtual overview of the most wonderful places on earth, and learn about self-care and breathing and mindfulness and music. She just did a really excellent job. So anytime during the day, and hopefully after the conference, you'll be able to just check in there, do a little bit of breathing, and center yourself and help relax and reduce your stress. I want to thank Dana Murphy Parker, who's the acting FEAN president. the fellows in the International Academy of Addictions Nursing, because the FIANs are visionary leaders in addictions nursing, and this fellowship was intended to foster excellence in nursing practice, administration, research, and education in addictions nursing by capitalizing on their wisdom and of the individuals in the profession. And we hope that the expertise that we have with those individuals will help us provide and organize educational opportunities throughout the year, and position papers, now that we have our e-learning platform available to us. Several of our people are experts that we'll want to hear from at our webinars. I want to thank the Journal of Addictions Nursing editors, Dr. Ann Mitchell, who is our newer editor-in-chief, and Dr. Christine Varakis, who is still our co-editor after serving as the editor of our journal for 30 years. And this journal is just a source of pride for all of us that work with it, and their hard work is very much appreciated. I'm excited that this year will be the first annual Christine Varakis Social Impact Award. You may remember that at last year's conference, we presented this award to Dr. Varakis in recognition of over 30 years of editorial service to the journal. And the purpose of this award is to recognize the voice of the journal, the editorial team, and the authors and the publisher for the impact that they have in the community. The first annual Christine Varakis Social Impact Award will be presented at our October 29th virtual IntNSA Awards ceremony. Articles that have been published in the journal during 2019 and authors who received the most social media readership activities, such as downloads and social media messages about their articles, will be selected based on their altmetrics and digital download data. And I want to thank our publisher for sponsoring this award. I can't wait to find out who will receive this award. I want to let everybody know too that the 2013 edition of the Scope and Standards, which is jointly published by the ANA and IntNSA, is almost ready to go out for public review and then to the ANA for publishing. So the 2020 revision is coming soon, although it might end up slipping into 2021 before you see it. I want to thank all of the people who contributed to the update of the Scope and Standards, and especially my co-editor, Dr. Suzanne Fogger, who has been with me on Sunday afternoons for 3 and 4 hours, and sometimes other days of the week for a year and a half now. So we spend our time together every weekend working on this. Hope you will enjoy it. Also coming soon is an updated ENA, Emergency Nurses Association, and IntNSA joint position statement. You might recall that we produced one in 2013, but we're now updating it, and it has been approved by the ENA and will be voted on at our next board meeting. And then it will be ready to roll out. And Dr. Erlenbrock from the ENA and Dr. Stephen Strobe and I produced this 2020 version of this expert position statement. I'm also excited to let you know that in the next issue of JAN, the Journal of Addictions Nursing, the position paper that we initiated in a workshop at the Denver 2018 conference will be coming out. It's called persons of childbearing age and fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD prevention. And I want to thank Dr. Ann Mitchell and her outstanding colleague, Khadijah Mahmood, for excellent work on the FASD position paper. Similarly, I want to thank Dr. Braden Kamig, Dr. Phyllis Rayner, and Dr. Mitchell for their work on the LGBTQIA plus paper, position paper that we initiated in a workshop at the Baltimore conference in, I'm sorry, that was 2019, that's a typo, at the Baltimore conference in 2019. And this paper is called Care of Individuals Who Identify as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Questioning Intersex or Asexual. And that paper will come out in 2021. I want to tell you a little bit about INSA. Our mission is to advance excellence in nursing care for the prevention and treatment of addictions for diverse populations across all settings through advocacy, collaboration, education, research, and policy development. Our goal is to help nurses in all settings provide high quality evidence-based addictions nursing care for patients, families, populations, and communities. We believe that INSA has something to offer every nurse regardless of their area of nursing practice. The vision of INSA is to be a global leader in addictions nursing. We represent different countries around the globe, and our strength comes from our members, including clinicians, educators, managers, and researchers who practice in a wide variety of settings, including treatment centers, hospitals, schools, private practices, primary care, and other community agencies. We really believe that all nurses, regardless of their specialty or practice setting, can play a role in improving the health of individuals at risk of or affected by substance use and other addictions. INSA values integrity, excellence, compassion, and diversity. I want to tell you about where we are in terms of our strategic planning and to achieve our mission and our vision. And I'd like to start with Dana Murphy Parker, who was the INSA president from 2014 to 2016. Some people may not know that every year the INSA board participates in an annual strategic planning process. So in 2014 through 2016, during which time I was serving on the board, as well as Dr. Clancy was a board member, and at the time was President-elect Stephen Clancy, President Murphy Parker appointed Carmel Clancy to chair a new international development task force. And they published a paper even farther back than that in the year 2000 about developing an international partnership among nurses practicing in addictions. With Dana Murphy Parker, Raj Boyjanath, who will be presenting as a speaker at our conference this month, Dr. Clancy, and Dr. Coyne. So the first task of the International Development Task Force was to prepare a position paper or a white paper on a proposed plan for international development. And this was presented at the Strategic Retreat meeting in March 2015, and again at our October 2015 annual conference. So we noted in that position paper that historically INSA drew its membership from within the United States of America with very few exceptions, but we realized the need to reflect the needs of members in all parts of the world. And so this position paper kind of was the beginning of additional efforts starting in 2014 and 2015, towards moving to ensuring that the organization was reflective of its name and in an effort to widen its constituency beyond the United States. And Dr. Clancy became the first international member to the board. Dr. Stephen Strobe continued this strategic planning and strategic direction when he became president from 2016 to 2018. And the IntNSA strategic plan for those years focused on increasing our global visibility and creating our new IntNSA website. As Dr. Strobe led the organization through his presidency, IntNSA had a presence at the International Council of Nursing Conference in Barcelona, Spain in May 2017. And at the 40th anniversary of the Society on Alcoholism and Other Addictions in Iceland in October 2017, the Drug and Alcohol Nurses of Australasia Conference in June 2018, and the launch of the Dutch chapter in Rotterdam, Netherlands in August 2018. And we appreciate the sponsors that helped us besides IntNSA to help fund some of that travel. During Dr. Strobe's presidency, IntNSA joined the European Specialist Nurses Organization, which is similar to the American Nurses Association Nursing Organizational Alliance, of which IntNSA is an organizational affiliate. So now we're an affiliate of both the ANA and the ESNO. These are photos from our trip to Barcelona in 2017. And we had a symposium there where Dr. Varakis, Dr. Clancy, Dana Murphy-Parker, Dr. Strobe, and myself were on a panel. But we loved that we were able to have a table or a booth at the conference where we received over 1,000 visitors from all over the world. And we were able to make contacts with nurses with similar interest from all over the world. And it was just a wonderful experience. During Dr. Strobe's presidency, we also developed the new and improved IntNSA website, which we rolled out at the 2018 conference in Denver. As a part of that conference, we now have the website organized according to the World Health Organization regions: the Americas, Africa, Eastern Mediterranean, Europe, Southeast Asia, and Western Pacific. So in the Americas, we have the United States of America and the Canadian and Brazilian chapters. And we'll talk more about these other regions later. When I ran as president-elect of IntNSA, I told the members that I would equally focus on and support IntNSA's growth and development at the local level with the United States chapters, recognizing the history of our organization, and at the international level with global chapters as IntNSA moves forward to achieving its mission and its vision of being a global leader in addictions nursing. And I said then, and I mean it now, that I would devote substantial effort to the development of international chapters, but I would not take my eye off the needs of members in the United States. So we have chapters in the United States, in California, Connecticut, Delaware, Eastern Wisconsin, Florida, Nevada, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and Western Wisconsin, North Carolina, the tri-state area of Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky, and the West Virginia chapter. At this current time in our growing global community of addictions nurses, we have existing country chapters in Brazil, Canada, Ireland, Netherlands, Nigeria, Portugal, South Africa, Tanzania, and the United Kingdom. And there are other countries such as India, Spain, that are trying to work with INSA to figure out how they can become a chapter 2. And what's next is that we intend to allow the United States to form its own self-governing board, the size of the existing board, which would allow them to have all the control of the United States functions at the United States country level, while allowing the International Nurses Society on Addictions board to work to help expand global development and global collaborations and partnerships. So it's been said that nurses are essential to the international health perspective. And so I started wondering, exactly how do you define international? And it's very simple. It's defined as people from different countries working together to solve problems or issues around the world. And an international organization, of which INSA is one, is an organization with international membership, scope, or presence. This diagram shows the progression of INSA from a national organization in 1974 to an internationally recognized nursing specialty organization. In 1974, the ANA supported the establishment of the National Nurses Society on Addictions and on alcoholism, and it was formed in 1975 officially as a counterpart to the American Medical Society on alcoholism. In 1983, the IntNSA changed its name to the National Nurses Society on Addictions, which allowed them to expand beyond alcoholism to other addictions while maintaining the IntNSA brand. In the year 2000, the United States had 3 addictions nursing organizations merge and form the International Nurses Society on Addictions. But it wasn't until 15 years later that there were 2 country chapters outside of the United States established. And we still are friends and colleagues with our partners chapters in Ireland and the Netherlands, our first 2 country chapters. And then additional chapters were established between 2016 and 2020. In October 2019, INSA was recognized by the International Council of Nurses as one of only 8 specialist affiliate nursing organizations. And so we knew that we had arrived at an international stage, but we weren't really sure how to envision where we were going. So at this point, and I thank Dr. Cipriano for referring us to Lisa Darsh, who is a graduate of the ICN Global Nursing Leadership Institute. She's a certified global nurse leader. And we contracted, the INSA board contracted with Lisa Darsh to help us plan our structural realignment that would bring our society into alignment with our stated objectives and vision and mission statement. So we contracted with Lisa to facilitate our strategic planning meetings and to provide monthly coaching calls, primarily to me and Carmel, but to other members of the board as well. In 2019, we met together with Lisa Darsh and all of the rest of the board and our ex officios in Atlanta for a face-to-face planning retreat meeting, but that was pre-COVID. So in 2020, we had 2 strategic planning meetings that kind of looked like the picture on your right, with all of us on Zoom during COVID. As we moved forward with our development plans, Carmel Clancy and I published a paper in the International Nurses Society on Addictions about the strategic plan for global development to shape policy and strengthen addictions nursing influence. And we obtained permission from the publisher to attach a link to this strategic plan on our website, because it's not, even though it says copyright, we felt like, and the publisher agreed, that all of our members and the public should be able to see what IntNSA's strategic plan is. In July 2020, we held a special meeting of the Society, and this meeting was held over 22 days in July. And members could go to the members only webpage of our website to learn about our strategic plan. And that's where we shared with the members of the Society a draft plan of where we thought we were going, and sought their conceptual agreement with us investing additional effort into moving forward in our planning stages. We wanted to have a conceptual agreement about where we were going before we spent additional time in planning. And so as a result of a vote that was held, the membership agreed that we would move forward with our plans conceptually to form an IntNSA USA chapter, which is a self-governing body of the members of the US members of our organization, and allow them to set up their own self-governing board, which would oversee all US operations and state chapters. And then the International Nursing Society on Addictions would support and interface with all of the country chapters and interface with our partners and collaborators at the international level. But we didn't know beyond the vote how we were going to move forward or how our bylaws would change. So we're setting up, starting in November, 2 ad hoc planning committees. These planning committees will be staffed by both board members and general membership. We will ask for members of the Society to apply to the board to be on the ad hoc committees, one committee to focus on how to operationalize the setup of the USA country chapter, and one committee to focus on how IntNSA will move forward with its collaborations with our international colleagues. When these 2 committees come up with their recommendations over 2021, they will submit their proposed bylaws to the board, and then these will be submitted to the entire membership for approval, bylaws approval, as per our existing bylaws. So now I'm going to talk about collaborations. I want to acknowledge the Drug and Alcohol Nurses of Australasia. They've been an organization in the South Pacific with Australia, New Zealand, and nearby islands for about as long as IntNSA has been a member. So they wanted to maintain their own identity, but still collaborate with IntNSA and have some assistance from IntNSA as an international Council of Nursing specialist affiliate, that IntNSA would represent them as well at the ICN level. So we've had very friendly relationships with DANA and their new president, Dr. Adam Searby, and their immediate past president had grant funding to send Dr. Clancy and Dana Murphy Parker and myself to Melbourne to present at their annual conference. And it's only been a couple of months ago that the immediate past president, Darren Smythe, stepped down from a very good job of being president of Dana. And so I want to congratulate him for all that he accomplished during that time, and congratulate the new president of Dana, Australasia. And the purpose of our memorandum of agreement is to encourage and support each other's efforts and their respective membership with professional development opportunities. And we hope to form a similar type memorandum of understanding with the the addictions nurses in Japan, who've also been their own organization for close to 20 years. So in terms of our organizational affiliations, the IntNSA belongs to the American Nurses Association Nursing Organization Alliance as an organizational affiliate, or OA organization. And that means that we have an organizational level membership with the ANA and the Nursing Organization Alliance. And like I mentioned earlier, also with the European Specialist Nurses Organization. When we applied to be a specialist affiliate of the ICN, we had to meet certain criteria, and members have asked us, what did we agree to when we applied to be an ICN specialist affiliate? And basically it meant that we had a mission, a mandate, and constitution or bylaws and objectives that were consistent with those of the ICN. And we were able to demonstrate that our members were nurses, and nurses that had the authority to make decisions about nursing practice in addictions nursing, and that we had a working relationship with other organizations and members in at least 4 of the ICN areas, covering both developed and developing countries. And we met those criteria, and we were recognized in October 2019 for IntNSA's excellence, expertise, and commitment to the field of addictions and mental health. And we were given organizational affiliate status. IntNSA's in good company here. We're one of only 8 nursing specialist organizations within the ICN specialist affiliates. And the ones that may seem most familiar to you other than IntNSA are NANDA International and Sigma Theta Tau, now called Sigma. So I like to believe that alcohol and drug use are major contributors to the global disease burden, and it's nurses that are one of the most important professions in healthcare and policy responsible for addressing substance-related challenges. So I really look forward for IntNSA to work with the ICN and other global leaders to attack these challenges and support nursing practice at local, regional, and international levels. Since I became president, Dr. Karan Burda and I were able to visit the Pan American Health Organization in DC as they rolled out the strategic directions for nursing in the region of the Americas, and in celebration of the International Nurses Day in 2019. We went to the United Nations in New York City and celebrated International Nurses Day in May 2019 with a group called Nurses with Global Impact. And now we're very excited that we're forming relationships with ISUP, the International Society of Substance Use Professionals. This group has members that belong to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the World Health Organization, the Colombo Plan and its Drug Advisory Program, its International Center for Credentialing and Education of Addictions Professionals, the United States Department of State's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, the African Union, and some of our members have already been in, some of our chapters are already in collaboration with many of these organizations within ISUP. So we have a meeting planned for later in October to talk about how we can become more involved as a participating society of addictions nurses, and to discuss the feasibility of possibly creating addictions nursing certification opportunities in other countries. I want to thank the members of the board. You know, I came along in 2003 as conference planning chair, not a real board position for INSA, but I've served 5 terms now with INSA, from 2004 to 2006, and then again from 2012 to present. And in the interim, I've maintained work with the INSA Policy Committee. So I just, now that I'm stepping down as president of INSA in October and handing over the reins to Dr. Clancy, I want to thank the members of the board that have been such a pleasure to work with, including my colleague at the University of Maryland, Karan Burda, who's an INSA director at large from Maryland in the United States. Dr. Carmel Clancy, who's the incoming president for 2020 to 2022, and Adrian Jugdoyle, who is currently fulfilling a vacant board position that was vacated when Shannon Large resigned due to professional obligations. And according to INSA bylaws, the way you fill a vacant board position is to look back at the previous election and see who was next in line in terms of the largest number of votes received. And so Adrian was appointed to the board because he was next in line for the number of votes received. And now he is running again to fill that board position again in 2020 to 2022. I want to thank Dr. Suzanne Fogger, who's our INSA treasurer. She represents INSA from the United States, and she's from the state of Alabama. She's also been INSA treasurer. She's INSA treasurer now, but she served as INSA secretary. And like I said earlier, my colleague in writing for the scope and standards and other publications. We have a wonderful, oh no, it says INSA treasurer. I'm sorry, Rachel. Rachel Schuster is our INSA secretary extraordinaire. She's one of the best secretaries I've ever met. And she's also an early career addictions professional, and she's the voice of the future. She's a real rock star in addictions nursing, and you'll hear from her more in our conference. And Nancy Diener, who is also from Pennsylvania. Thank you, Nancy, for your support during my term and representing the state of Pennsylvania. I want to thank Sue Newton, who's an INSA director at large now, and also the founding president of INSA Canada chapter. And she's from Calgary and was a big help with helping us get the Calgary conference that didn't happen put together. And we'll be working with her in 2021. In case COVID ever gets under control, we'll try to have our 2021 conference at the same hotel in Calgary. And I really regret saying adieu and hasta luego, and I'll see you later, Dr. Giovanni Vargas from Sao Paulo, Brazil, because his term on the INSA board has just been fabulous. He's a researcher and educator, and he also founded the INSA chapter of Brazil. And Brazil is a really big country, and he just pulled all of the regions of Brazil together. and I know that he'll be my lifelong friend, but I hope that we don't go long without communicating with each other after he steps down. Dr. Don Howe from Texas, and he's a INSA director at large, and John Silvani from Ohio. He's an INSA director at large. So I want to thank all of the board members. I want to encourage people to consider getting your CARN or your Certified Addictions Registered Nurse or your Certified Addictions Registered Nurse AP. And if you go on our INSA website, you'll find instructions for how to take CARN review courses and how to link to the ANCB website for this accredited certification that we're all proud of. I hope that you'll consider looking in your brochure and consider participating in the contest, because there's great prizes to be had if you are one of our top Twitter, social media, Facebook contestants. There's good prizes this year. I hope you take advantage of the merchandise and understand, like Dr. Clancy said, that all of the funds from this go to scholarships. And this year, only a research award is being awarded since the conference is free. But please click on FAN, click on it often, and make donations to the Foundation for Addictions Nursing. If you like what you see at this conference, there's a 20% discount where you can become a member of INSA for 20% off. And this is for first-time INSA members only. You'll see more about that in the brochure. And I want to thank all of you for coming to INSA 2020. I hope you really love this virtual conference. And Dr. Clancy or Sean, can you explain how we will now sign out of this room and go to our next room, where I will introduce Dr. Pam Cipriano, our keynote speaker.
That's lovely, Kathy. Yes. So yes, we should be closing out of this session now. So if you just leave, you should find a little red button to the bottom of your screen. You leave this session, and then you go to a live schedule where you will see Dr. Cipriano's webinar is posted in the live schedule, and there you should see the link to say go to that session via Zoom app. If you click on that, then that session will be starting at 1:30 prompt Eastern Standard Time. So this gives you, I think, roughly about 30 minutes to just take a break from the screen, have a walk around, hopefully check out maybe the rest of our website, and, you know, go to the store, go and look at the brochure, start thinking about the rest of this month that's coming up. And we'll see you all hopefully with Dr. Pam Cipriano in 30 minutes. So thank you very much, Dr. Fornili, for an excellent presentation. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.